Hello, St. Patrick's and friends of St. Patrick's. Why do human beings get angry with God? I talked briefly about this on Sunday, but I wasn't able to get into it for too long. Sermons get a little bit lengthy at times, but what is striking to me, aside from that verse 30 in Luke chapter 4, that the Lord walked between them and then left and he was gone, was that the people in Nazareth were in one moment excited and praising Jesus and bragging about how they knew him, really excited about him coming and announcing his ministry and that the kingdom of God was there. To such an anger that it says they were intent on murdering him. So we're not just talking about frustration or even a mild form of disappointment, but murderous outrage. And people do get angry with God. And it got me to thinking, why? Why do people get angry with God? You know, people have disordered affections, disordered loves, disordered priorities. And many times that comes to a head specifically in the areas of where we expect God to meet us, what we expect God to do. And when he doesn't do that or does something different, and then it starts to mess with our deep down disordered affections and loves, anger comes to the front, to the fore. Now, I heard this once, and I think it's worth mentioning that anger is not really one of those core things. It's like a layered feeling or emotion above a core feeling emotion. Something more core would be something like fear, right? I'll never forget, and I'll share with you a time in my life that I was really angry with God, and it was born out of this frustration that, well, as I started to think about it over the weeks and months that this period of my life transpired, that I suddenly realized I expected God to protect me from anguish, heartache, all the things that you might think about, like that are difficult in this world, that I thought God should protect me from them. And sometimes, in some instances, it amounts to us expecting God to protect us from our own selves, things that we did, that we still expect God to say, well, I know I did that, but I was either ignorant or I didn't know the whole story or I was tired or whatever, and God should have protected me from that. There's an expectation there. There is a passage in Psalm 23 that is often used, especially in very difficult times of heartache, times of death and mourning. And it says, basically, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why? Because God is there with me. God doesn't promise, nor should we expect that he would just snatch us up out of the anguish, out of the circumstance and say, okay, no, we're not going to experience that. But rather, like a father, like a shepherd, he walks us through it, guides us and protects us as we go through it. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean, unfortunately, sadly, that we will avoid the really heavy things of life. Jesus was a man of sorrows, and his followers and disciples are men and women of sorrows. And that includes all the way up to death. Of all the things that we would like to avoid and we'd hope to expect God to pluck us out from, it is death. But he doesn't. No. He walks us through it, and with his rod and his staff, he protects us from ultimate devastation. But like a father and like a shepherd, he guides us for greater purposes, to teach us resiliency, to make us stronger, to give us a sense of his character, to make us holy. You see, those are kinds of things that God is much more concerned about. I think I want to become a man who is not easily angered, particularly not easily angered at God. And for that, I have to trust him. I really like going through this Gospel of Luke. I hope you are too. We're going to continue on. We're still at chapter 4 this coming Sunday. And this coming Sunday, it's about a day of healing. And I hope to spend some time with you guys talking about what are the things that mark the presence of the kingdom of God, that mark the presence of the gospel of the kingdom in a congregation, in a church. And that's what we'll be addressing this Sunday. I really hope you can make it. Invite your friends. We're so encouraged by you guys. I know that we're always praying for you. We did yesterday, in fact. We were praying for you. We're there for you. And we'll see you Sunday. God bless you guys.